Hello everyone, it's been a while since my last video, over a month I think, so now is a good time to make another one. All in all, I have a few things to talk about here, including all this good stuff, these things right here, and the gaming community I've been working on. So, to begin, I think I'll go ahead and mention these things first. So, I'm in college right now. My last update video must have been December, early January, and I was back at home. So yes, again, I'm back at college now. And before I left to come back to college, my uncle, who also works in the computer networking profession, well, I don't work in it, I'm majoring in it, but he works in it for the past 5 years. He let me have these routers and switches, or at least he lent me these routers and switches for me to learn how to use, because he thought they would be good resources for me to expand my knowledge in the computer networking field of study, and he's certainly right about that. So when I moved back in January, about a month ago, I took these things with me, and I've been learning how to use them since. I'm not going to go into super deep detail about these things, but pretty much I got 3 routers and 3 switches. One of the switches is there, and one of the routers is right there, because I was working with them, as well as a book he gave me about how to learn all this stuff. And essentially, these are not meant for your basic home use. These are meant for like enterprise, large-scale level networking. And to set them up, you don't even have like a graphic user interface, because if you set up like a home router, you just connect to it over IP. Through HTTP, and you just, go ahead and make all your modifications and stuff, all these fancy little buttons and everything. But with these things, you've got to plug into them via serial cable, that blue thing right there, and use like an SSH client like PuTTY or whatever to connect to them, and to set them up using Cisco IOS, which stands for Internet Networking Operating System. And that's a command line interface operating system, so it has no graphics, it's all text-based and everything, so they're kind of complex to learn how to set up. I worked with them for handfuls of hours, and at the point I'm at, I still don't have them set up to actually assign addresses through DHCP, and I don't even have them set up to save the configuration settings after they're shut down, so they're pretty much useless until I learn how to use them properly. I was using these things a lot about a month ago, but I haven't really touched them since, because I don't really have any practical application for them right now, other than learning. So if any of you guys are interested in the computer networking field of study, these things are very good to know how to use. These ones are about 10 years old, but yeah, there's a lot that goes into setting them up and using them and everything. Moving on, I remember when I first came to college here in August, about 6 months ago, I was going to buy a whole bunch of desktop computers from a place called Resource, which is a few blocks away from my college here, and I was talking to them like all of last summer about doing that, but never really happened, unfortunately. And well, at least until a few days ago, when I finally went down there and bought 6 desktops from them. Just finally got around to saying, hey, I'm coming down at this time, and I did, and they had a bunch of desktops there, so I bought them, $20 a piece. They've all got dual-core CPUs and 2 gigs of memory, which is an okay deal. Came out to $128 total with tax. I had to pay my friend $10 to help me pick them up, because there's no way I'm lugging these things back in like negative 20-degree weather, several blocks to dump them off here. So my friend, who has a car, helped me do that. I paid him $10, so $138 total for these things. And these 5 are all pretty similar. I think 4 of them have the exact same motherboard, and then this one here is even better. And I think I should be able to make a few bucks off of them. I'll go over these ones first. This one's got a 2.9 gigahertz Athlon 2X2, which is a dual core. Has an MSI motherboard, a couple gigs of DR2800, and 80 gig SATA hard drive, 7200 RPM. All these have 80 gig, 7200 RPM hard drives, by the way. And I think, let me see, this one, not that one and that one all have the same motherboard as this one. So yeah, this one has, again, the same motherboard, pretty much the same hard drive, pretty much the same memory. an Athlon 2X2 3 gigahertz, which is a teensy bit better. This one's got an Athlon 64X2 2.6 gigahertz, and a different motherboard. That one's got a Athlon 64X2 2.2 gigahertz and the same motherboard, and this one, got my charging cable stuck. It has an Athlon 2X2 2.9 gigahertz and the same motherboard. So these things aren't too bad. They're not amazing, obviously, but for $20 a piece, I think I should be able to turn them around for some sort of profit. However, these don't come with any operating system codes on them because they couldn't sell them to me. I don't think these cases, since they look custom built, I don't think they had any COAs on them in the first place, but that can be kind of an issue because I can't really load operating systems on them feasibly, at least. I'm not going to spend $150 on Windows 7 to pop on each of these to sell them for, $75. So I'm probably going to put Ubuntu on each of these. I would put XP, but XP is, just really old and insecure at this point, so probably Ubuntu is going to be popped on each one of these, and I'll sell them for $40 or $50 a piece at least. And then there's this one, which I think was also labeled as one of the ones with 2 gigs of DDR2, but it's actually got DDR3 memory. It's got an AMD A4, which is kind of interesting. Hold on, I gotta pull up my charger here. It's got an AMD A4 2.5 gigahertz dual-core CPU. I was kind of surprised to see that because I didn't know AMD was capable of making a CPU any less powerful than the A6, because I bought my mom a Lenovo laptop with the AMD A6 back in December, and oh my god, it's basically the equivalent of a Pentium dual-core, but apparently they made one even less powerful than that. It's got a socket FM1 motherboard from around 2011, I think. Takes DDR3 memory and has a PCI Express slot. I had 2 gigabytes of DDR3 memory in it. I went ahead and put in 4 gigs instead, so that's running at 1333 megahertz. I wrote that down wrong. It's not actually 1300. Had an 80 gig hard drive in it, but I popped a 320 in it, so I put some of my own parts in this all in all. I put my own memory and my own hard drive in it, which didn't cost me anything anyway, so the total cost for this thing is still $20. And it's actually a pretty good machine other than the CPU, I think. CPU is not horrible. 2.5 gigahertz non-hyper-threaded dual-core CPU with a megabyte of L2 cache, which is something I really don't like about AMD. They always feel the need to put minuscule amounts of cache in their CPUs. And in my system software class I'm taking right now at college here, one of the things we're learning is that cache and buffers are really useful for increasing performance. So the fact that the CPU doesn't have much cache is probably not a great thing. But this one doesn't have a CUA for an operating system on either. But I had this computer right here, which has been sitting around for a long time. I used to lend it to my friend. Here's the hardware specs for it: an AMD 64X2, dual-core 3 gigahertz, 4 gigs DDR2 800, 320 gig hard drive. This actually, I think this is the same video card. Well, of course it's the same kind, but I think it's the exact same video card I bought back in 2009 for my first gaming PC build of the GeForce 9800 GTX Plus, which is a 512 meg. I had Windows 7 Home 64 on it, but I went ahead and decided that this computer would be a better fit for Windows 7. And the reason I still have this thing is because I never really got around to selling it, because it's been having some weird issues. I can't really remember what's up with it, but something's a little bit screwy. I think it was having post problems, like not giving any video output or just doing something weird. And when I went to boot it up to grab the Windows 7 key off it to transfer the operating system, I found that it's very slow. So I'm probably just going to go ahead and just part this thing out, because I don't know if it's really reliable enough to sell. So I'm going to go ahead and load Windows 7 on this thing. I've been working on that for the past day. Although I had a Windows 7 DVD, but that was busted, and I went ahead and burned another Windows 7 DVD, which apparently doesn't work either. So now I'm downloading a new Windows 7 ISO, and I'm going to put it on a USB stick to put on this computer, because apparently this DVD drive, or all the DVDs I'm using, aren't working. So by the end of tonight, this thing should have Windows 7 up and running on it. I went ahead and popped I think it's a 108 megabyte wireless G Wi-Fi PCI card in it. I'm gonna sell it with. I think I'll toss this thing up on eBay. So yeah, so that's it for these routers and switches and these 6 desktops I built. I think in my last update I mentioned that I was doing work for someone who bought 2 desktop computers and only needed one. They were both what were they? Were Dell Vostros, I think a 230 and a 430. I set the 230 for him and got it running for him and got paid for that. And I just recently sold the Vostro 430 for about $240 or $50, I think, which translates to, after shipping, well, that was with free shipping. So after shipping and eBay fees, it transferred to about $180 profit. So that thing is all shipped out. So I made money off that. It's actually my first computer sale in 6 months I've been at college here, believe it or not. So that was pretty good. But I think that pretty much sums it up for all the computer stuff that's been going on. I really haven't been doing much work with that in the past few months. Up until about a week ago, I hadn't even really come in here to do any work on any of this stuff for weeks, really. So I mean, I've only been in here a few times since I got back a little over a month ago. But yeah, that pretty much sums it up for the hardware stuff. Moving on, I think I've mentioned quite a bit in my past videos. I've been working on making a gaming community. If you go to my website, which is rainvilleTech.net, if this opens a new tab, like I told it to, rainvilleTech.net, I mentioned that, and this website's kind of crummy, I want to host my own, but that's a completely different server, or completely different story, I'm sorry. If you go here to my game servers tab, it lists the game servers I have running and saying that I want to make a community, but for some reason it didn't occur to me until a couple weeks ago that I really ought to make a Steam group for my gaming community. So I went ahead and I finally did that. I decided to call it Tracer Core Gaming. That might be temporary. If I realize the name is really stupid, I might change it. But yeah, I went ahead and designed that logo in Photoshop. It took me like an hour or so. So I'd really love some feedback from you guys on this. If you want, go ahead and join the group, because right now we have a pitiful sum of two members, including myself. So please do join the group if you're at all interested. Right now I've got Gary's Mod, Minecraft servers, and TeamSpeak running off my server in my dorm room. And I'm hoping to add Rust and CSGO servers and everything soon. So I'm really hoping that this will grow somewhere. So please do join this group if you're interested. You can just go to steamcommunity.com/groups/TracerCoreGaming, or just search that in your Steam community and go ahead and join it. Even if you're not really interested, can't really hurt to do it anyway. I'm really not planning on spamming people with tons of pointless events and updates and everything. So I also made a little recommendations discussion here for anyone who wants to post any discussions on recommendations for the gaming community, like saying this name sucks, choose a different name. In which case I'd go ahead and I'd delete this group and make a new group with a non-stupid name. But I think this name's okay. Took me a day or two to settle on it. I wasn't really sure what to go with. I was thinking like, I don't know, something really dumb. I had a whole bunch of ideas floating around and eventually settled on this one. So yeah, my servers are in fact up, as I previously mentioned. They're actually running in my dorm room, and they're all the same IP, just with different port numbers, like 270.14 or 16 or 15 and stuff. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm really excited about that. I'm also looking for moderators on my servers, because I have 3 Gmod servers, the Sandbox, Triple and Terra Sound, Dark RP, which don't see any traffic like whatsoever. I have a Minecraft Survival server, which doesn't have any mods on it currently, which is kind of lame, and a TeamSpeak server. I'm hoping to add Rust and CSGO soon. So those servers don't really see anything for traffic, but if one of you guys wants to be like a moderator for one of the Gary's Mod servers or something, if you demonstrate to me that you're not a complete idiot, I might actually go ahead and give you admin access to one of those servers so you can be part of the admin groups. So that would be good. So yeah, as I said 5,000 times in this video, if you're interested, please don't hesitate to join. I'm hoping to get more servers running, including more actual physical servers for more CPU power, so I can actually run more servers. But there's a whole bunch of loopholes I'm going to have to try to open up in doing this, because I'm running all these server things off one computer, off one static IP. So I don't know, we'll see where it goes. I'm hoping it'll grow, and hoping I'll actually get a community going. And hopefully in the future I'll actually have my own dedicated website, similar to my website here, but actually dedicated towards this gaming community. But I have to actually learn how to make a website first, which might take a while. So I think that's it for this video. Longer than I expected it to be, but it's really all I got for you guys. Um, Sorry, my camera died about 5 seconds before I was going to end the video. So yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. Hope to see as many of you guys as possible in this gaming group and in my next video. So yeah, thank you for watching.